Check out The Athletic for free for 7 days. See the link in the description to sign up now. Euro 2020 was supposed to be spectacular. It was supposed to dance through 12 cities in 12 different countries and be truly a pan-European tournament. UEFA still hopes that it will be, but with vaccination rates fluctuating across the continent and many borders still closed, that seems to be in hope rather than expectation. Cancelling the tournament isn't an option. Most tickets were sold prior to the pandemic, and in any case, many of the football associations under UEFA's jurisdiction depend on tournament revenue to survive. This, then, is not the time to be paying rebates to sponsors and broadcasters. The challenge is to find a workable solution, and while UEFA's ambition is to remain as true to the original format as possible, one option is to revert to a single nation format. But the trouble is infrastructure. Without any preparation time, there are very few countries that could hold a 24-team tournament. France staged the 2016 championships and has the facilities, but has shown little inclination. Similarly, while Germany also has the capacity, the country is due to host the tournament in 2024, and again, politically, there seems to be no appetite. Russia is also an alternative. Beyond the traditional challenges presented by travel distances and despite only recently hosting a World Cup, the country is currently under sanction from WADA for doping violations, and as such, UEFA is unlikely to court avoidable controversy. And that leaves the United Kingdom as the only viable contingency. The English Football Association has expressed willing too, but how would it work? Well, it's been 25 years since a major tournament was held in the United Kingdom, and only 16 teams took part in Euro 96, which was hosted solely in England. 8 cities and stadiums were used, and only 31 games were played. A 24-team competition presents a different kind of challenge, particularly with no notice. But we've sketched out how it might work, albeit with a few assumptions. And the first assumption is that the UK's rate of vaccination remains the highest in Europe and proves resistant to variants of the virus. The second is that supporters would be allowed inside the grounds, but at a reduced capacity, only after strict temperature checks and with the need to socially distance and wear face masks once inside. And there are some logistical ground rules too, as would apply to any normal tournament. For policing reasons, 2 games cannot take place within the same city on the same day. Only stadia within UEFA Category 4 status facilities can be used. That means they must have certain VIP facilities, floodlights of particular luminance, and, among other criteria, the right number of working positions for written and broadcast media, as well as at least 1 television studio in full view of the pitch. And there is also a high expectation for the standard of training grounds, which need to be fit for international footballers, and hotels, which will have to accommodate for travelling parties of around 60 people. So, spreading the tournament out as much as possible and making sure not to overwhelm any one part of the country, this could be Euro 2020. In Group A, Wales, Italy, Switzerland and Turkey can play their games at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff and the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in North London. The Welsh were originally supposed to have home advantage, so they can train at Hensall Castle, while the other 3 nations can be housed at the University of Bath, the American Express Elite Performance Centre in Lansing, and Southampton's Staplewood. Group B comprises Denmark, Belgium, Russia and Finland, and we're sending them to the northeast, to the Stadium of Light and St James's Park. The area is rich in training grounds too, and Sunderland's Academy of Light, Middlesbrough's Rockcliffe Hall and Newcastle's Darsley Park and the University of Northumbria will provide bases in a footballing heartland. Group C features the Netherlands, Austria, North Macedonia and Ukraine, and they're going to Anfield and the Etihad. The Dutch would have been playing in Amsterdam originally, so Jorginho Wijnaldum and Virgil van Dijk can enjoy a homecoming at Liverpool's new training facility at Kirkby. Manchester United's Carrington, Everton's Finch Farm and Leeds United's Thorpe Arch can then house the rest of the group. Group D is the easiest to organise. England, Croatia, Scotland and the Czech Republic can play between Wembley and Hampden Park, with the 2 home nations bedding into their usual bases of St George's Park and Oriam. Petr Cech can then welcome his former international colleagues to Chelsea's Cobham, while the Croatians can enjoy Rangers' superb Auchenhowie facility, which in the past the club have lent to visiting European sides who face Celtic in European club games. In Group E, Old Trafford and Pride Park can host games between Spain, Sweden, Poland and Slovakia. And those teams can have their pick from the Etihad Complex, Leicester City's brand new training complex in Seagrave, Derby County's Moor Farm and the training centre at Loughborough University. And that leaves Group F, with France, Germany, Portugal and Hungary playing out their group of death at the Emirates and Villa Park. And preparing at London Colney, Bodymore Heath, Wolves Training Ground in Compton and Hotspur Way in Enfield. Now of course the more teams that are eliminated, the easier the logistics. From the last 16 onwards, the emphasis is on sharing games around the country involving different communities and ensuring good travel links. The Emirates, the Etihad, Villa Park and St James's Park could stage 2 last 16 games each on alternate days. For the quarterfinals, the Principality Stadium and Hampden Park could come back into use, with the 2 other matches at Old Trafford and the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. That would send the semi-finalists to London, as the tournament originally intended. The 4 surviving countries could relocate to training centres and hotel complexes around the capital, with Cobham, Colney and Hotspur Way all available, and Brighton's Lancing base a couple of hours away. But Wembley was the final destination. It was where Euro 2020 was supposed to end, and even in this modified alternative, all roads should still lead up Olympic Way, past the statue of Bobby Moore, and into the home of English football. Everyone watching this can now get 7 days of The Athletic for free. Join us in reading the brilliant journalists, each dedicated to different Premier League teams, with the same level of in-depth coverage for the smaller teams, not just the big 6. It's the best place to get the news on breaking stories, but also the last place you'll ever need to look for that comprehensive feature. If you want to know what David Ornstein knows before anybody else, The Athletic is the place for you. Plus, you can listen to the Tifo Football podcast ad-free. Not to mention the same level of coverage and dedication for over 10 other sports and leagues, including the NFL, NBA, NHL, and even MMA. So get your 7 days absolutely free now with the link in the description, and come and see what all the fuss is about.